joining. Today we'll be seeing sloka text number 15.9 from the second chapter, 2.59. So give it just a background. So Arjuna, Lord Krishna is giving a lot of knowledge to Arjuna. So the first part, so you are not this body or the soul, he says, and then he gives further explanation. And then Arjuna asks in 2.54, what are the symptoms of a person situated in transcendence, fixed in transcendence? That is a sita prajna. So what are his? How does he sit? How does he walk? All that he asks. So we are seeing the continuation from that. So before that, let's take blessing of Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Panchatattva Bhagavan Gaur Nithai ki jai, Vaman Dev Bhagavan ki jai, Parshuram Bhagavan ki jai. Let's begin with prayers. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjalaakaya Chakshurunmilitanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutrishna Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are in chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. As we all know, the second chapter is like that is a place where Lord gives all the instruction initially, and then throughout the Gita from third chapter to 17th chapter, he explains it in detail. And again, he summarizes it in the end conclusion, the 18th chapter. So it's repeated. The second chapter that has a lot number of slokas, and 18th chapter. Those two are the longest ones. So we are in the second chapter now. So it contains the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita. So prior to this, Arjuna is asking, what are the symptoms of a devotee who is fixed in transcendence? Sthita prajna. So for that, Lord is answering that in the previous sloka 2.58 we saw on Friday. We have seen that a person who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense objects, like a tortoise takes its hands and legs inside the shell, he is fixed in transcendence. So further, he explains here in the 15th sloka. Let's see that. For that, let's see the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasavarjam Prasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Repeat once again. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasavarjam Prasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Hey, can someone please read the translation? Prabhu Mataji? Anybody? Raise your hand.
Can I do it? Can I read it, Prabhuji?
Okay, Sumatra.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, it said the embodied soul may be restricted if we artificially artificially restrict the senses. That okay, I should not see certain things, I should not hear certain things, I should not eat certain things. We artificially try to stop the senses. That doesn't help. That will. It's like a patient is there. So for a patient, we say, okay. Yeah. So basically, for a patient, if we say don't eat certain foodstuffs, if we are undergoing some treatment, some course. So in that course, they'll say a doctor will say, okay, you should not eat this, you should not eat that, and there will be some certain instructions, do's and don'ts would be there. So in that case, the patient will still have that hankering. Okay, I want to eat this. I want to. When will this course get over? Okay, and this for 1 month or 2 months, suppose. Then I'll be contemplating on that. Will be waiting, eagerly waiting. Okay, when will that? Will count the days or mark in calendar. Okay, one more day or 10 days, nine, like countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That okay. Now I can eat. I can eat this. I can take this like that we impose. If we artificially try to say okay, don't see, don't, it's like a horse. If we say like don't see this, then we'll have that. Okay, what is there beyond? What we'll try, we'll have that curiosity. Similar way, if we say a child like don't put your hand in fire or some instruction, don't, in any don't statement, if we say to a child, the child will still have that to try that. When you are not there, the child will still try. Even not the child, even I would also try. If somebody says don't try, my first thing that comes to me is, what if I do that? What will be the what will be the pros and cons? I'll think that way. And we try to put that restrictions. Wherever we put restrictions, we may find little difficulty in following that. Now, and in this translation, so Prabhupada writes, and the purport he explains that when you get a higher taste, when you get a higher taste, we'll automatically forget the lower taste. That way, we taste the Krishna consciousness, the highest taste we can ever get. That is a Krishna consciousness. That is dance in a loving service to the Lord. We serve the Lord and always try to remember Him, never forget Him. In that sense, when we get the highest taste, that the highest taste, we automatically tend to forget the lower taste. So if I like, suppose, uh, cycle, I ride cycle a lot. Like I'll not keep my cycle outside. Somebody will steal it. I have so much attachment for the cycle that I'll lock it, and then again I'll keep it inside the house. I'll not keep it outside. So much attachment I have for the cycle. If somebody says, well, you are doing this, you should not have so much attachment. It's so bad to have attachment. Then I'll still not be able to digest that fact that I'm attached. But when I get a bike, that's a better attachment. That okay, cycle is there, something higher taste. That's a bike. If I get a bike, I'll have that. Oh wow! Now I'll forget the cycle entirely. Then when some sure, if I give the bike to service or something, then I have no other option. Then maybe I'll go back to my cycle. Like that. From a bike, if I'm too much attached to the bike, if there is any scratch or anything, I identify myself with the bike so much that I get so much worried if there's a scratch or anything to the bike, and if somebody asks my vehicle, I will not give so much attached to that. That attachment will only go if I get a better attachment. That is a higher taste. That's a car. If I get like that, each stage by stage, if we get better, we'll forget the lower ones. Like that, if we get the highest taste, that's Krishna consciousness, we will automatically forget the lower tastes. So in that way, if we artificially restrict our mind and senses from certain things, it will not stay calm. So it's said in the translation. So it's not helping. विषय विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्यतेन रसवर्जं रसोप्यस्य param दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So Arjuna is asking, Sthita Prajna, what qualities of a Sthita Prajna or a person fixed in transcendence? How does he sit? How does he walk? That. So for that, Lord is answering here. That such a person will fix his mind to the highest state. So he will not be carried away by the lower tastes. He will be fixed in higher tastes. Otherwise, if he's not fixed, then normally, generally what happens is the taste for sense objects remains. But for him, for such a person who is fixed in transcendence, he no longer has a lower taste. He get the higher taste. If we, for, as I said in children's case, we say don't do this, don't do this. Sometimes we tell people, okay, you should not do this, you should not do that. And if we give the purpose, if we give the explanation and why we are not doing that, then it makes some sense to them. Otherwise, suddenly we tell someone not to do this. We are trying to control somebody. We feel the person may not like it. So in that way, certain times when we have to put some rules and regulations, we explain that okay, this is the purpose. So as that way, there are a lot of scriptural injunctions, lot of restriction, do's and don'ts mentioned in the scriptures, in the Vedas. So the purpose of all that, if you understand, it is two things, as it's given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that the purpose is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So that's the purpose. If any rule and regulation or anything anybody says, you follow this, that's helping me to connect with the Lord, if it's helping me to remember Krishna, I can accept it. If it is anything which is taking me away from the Lord, making me forget the Lord, I have the right to reject it. So in that case, we have to be very careful what we follow, what the do's and don'ts. We have to be very careful. We cannot just say, I will not follow, or I will follow certain parts. We should follow whatever is said, and we should, whatever is said as to do and don't. We cannot say, I like this part, I'll do. So I don't like this, I'll not do. We should be, we are following the do's, then we have to follow the don'ts also. But we have to understand the ultimate reason, that is all the scriptural injunctions, that the sole purpose is to always remember Krishna and never forget the Lord. And we have that, when we try to connect with the Lord and we serve the Lord nicely, then automatically all the lower tastes will go away. But still, if we serve the Lord in such a way that okay, like okay, I'm serving the Lord this way so that devotees praise me, or I get this, I get that. In that way, then we are to should serve the Lord. It's just ahetuki apratihata. That means you have to be without any expectation. You have to serve the Lord so nicely that without expecting anything in return. So if we expect anything in return, that becomes a fruitive activity. But again, in that way, we have to serve the Lord without expecting. That way, when we engage all our senses, like in the previous verse, in 58, it said that we have to engage all our senses in the service of the Lord. So you can use our eyes to read Bhagavad Gita, or see the beautiful form, beautiful deity form of the Lord. We can use our nose to smell the flowers offered to the Lord. We can use our ears to hear Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and hear Kirtan, Bhajan, glorifications of the Lord. And we can use our tongue in two things. One is to taste the prasad, that is the bhoga offered to the Lord, and mercifully Lord gives us as prasad, that we can accept your tongue, taste it, or speak. So that speaking, we use that tongue, that is to glorify the Lord. If you don't use it for glorifying the Lord, if you don't use it for the highest taste, then automatically what will happen is we'll use the mouth to speak anything, any nonsense, and we are like in attracting death. That frog example, there's a frog example. That frog is doing that croak, 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 croak sound, and it's just attracting death. It's just making that sound, and snake is like, okay, the frog is there, let me catch it. So like that, if we speak anything other than Krishna Katha, anything other than the pastimes of the Lord, the glories of the Lord and the devotees, good things about Lord and devotees. So if we speak anything other than that, then we are just wasting our time. When we are attracting death, we are just wasting our time. So we should not do that. We should properly engage all our senses in the service. The sense of touch, finally, that also we can use in the service of the Lord. We can decorate the photos or deities. We can make garlands. We can make dresses. We can bathe them. We can do abhishekam to the deities. So Prabhu has given us so nice system that all our senses we can engage in the service of the Lord. So nice. So when we do that highest taste, service of the Lord, we are engaging all our senses. Then automatically we'll not have that thing, the taste for to try other things. We have tasted the highest taste, we'll be okay, there's nothing else beyond this. Now, unless we do that, the highest taste, when you say someone, okay, don't do this, don't do that, do this, we'll not be able to accept it. We will not also not be able to accept it, since we are used to that. So we are used to tasting the lower taste, and the lower taste we are there. So if I'm, like I said in the example of cycle, so unless I see the highest one, car, not the highest, but the comparative, so I get a car, I'll forget the cycle. Similarly, when we engage all our senses to serve the Lord, will automatically restrict. It will automatically, that restriction will come. Otherwise, if we put any Ashtanga yoga, Dhyana yoga, Karma yoga, Bhakti, Jnana yoga, any other process if we impose artificially, if we try to impose, it will not help. It will only make it worse. That we are, it's like we are pushing so much that at a point the mind will bounce back. The mind sense, it will just revolt. So you should not take it to such an extent. So Srila Prabhupada said that a person fixing transcendence always engaging his senses in the service of the Lord. That way, we should try to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. The easiest way to do, the easiest service we can do is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So as we chant, we are using our tongue also, and we are hearing also, and the mind we are also thinking. So we are thinking about the Lord. So in that way, we can engage most of our senses in the service of the Lord. So this chanting of Hare Krishna Mantra is very important. So let's try to keep up our commitments of chanting. How many rounds we are chanting? Try to keep up the commitment. So let's chant one time together. All of us, please. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare.
Thank you, Prabhu Sannathaji. We'll stop here. Any question? See, or we meet tomorrow again.